the goat was missing. Missing. For us, in my family, that was a disaster. The goat was the main part of the family feast, so it can't just be missing. My name is Kunle, and this story is about one of the unforgettable Christmases our family ever had in our little Nigerian village. It centers around our Christmas goat and my older brother Tunde, who believes he knows better than every other person and can never fail in any tasks. Spoiler alert, he can, and he did. Christmas in our family isn't just a holiday, it is an event. Everyone, uncles, aunties, cousins, in-laws, flock to the village from the city to celebrate together. There's singing, dancing, eating, arguments, sharing of stories, and the main event, which is the Christmas feast itself. To us, it has become a tradition.
We normally share the tasks, year after year. And this year, it was Tunde's turn to handle the most important task. Tunde's assignment was to make sure that we have the goat for the Christmas feast available at least 3 days before Christmas Day. The goat will be killed on Christmas Eve, as was our custom, so that they can use it early on Christmas morning to prepare the Christmas feast. We do not just buy any goat. It had to be one of the best, fattest goat from the market. It's a cultural symbol of abundance and joy. Tunde, in his usual overconfidence, decided to buy the goat on Christmas Eve. When we complained, he promised to do it very early in the morning, so as not to delay the preparations. That decision snowballed into disaster. On the morning of Christmas Eve, Tunde left early, boasting about his bargaining skills. Hours passed, and there was no sign of Tunde. We started getting worried. By noon, Tunde returned, panting, sweaty, dirty, and goatless. We rushed him. The goat escaped, he confessed, looking contrite. We stared in disbelief. Escaped? How does a goat escape? What do you mean by escaped? We asked in disbelief. We were all staring at him, waiting for an explanation. According to Tunde, while tying the goat to his motorcycle, he stopped to chat with an old friend. The goat, perhaps sensing its fate, yanked free and ran through the market. Tunde, joined by his friend, chased after the goat. Each time they try to catch the goat will escape, and they will end up scattering people's goods and items. The goat finally ran into a nearby forest. After hours of fruitless search, he decided to come home and inform the family. The story elicited an uproar. Angry voices were raised at Tunde. Blames were tossed here and there. Someone hit Tunde, and he hit back. Fights ensued. Through all these, my grandfather, the oldest in our family, sat in one corner watching us. After a while, Grandpa spoke. "Quiet! Zrinya," he boomed. "Will this fighting bring back the goat?" he asked. "Why don't you all use this excess energy to go in search of the goat?" We all turned to stare at my grandfather. Is Grandpa serious? Does he expect us to suffer for Tunde's carelessness? These questions and more raced through our minds. "Why are you standing there and staring at me? Do I look like the goat?" Grandpa questioned in his booming voice. "Go and search for the goat," he repeated. Well, Grandpa has spoken, and in my family, Grandpa's words are final. We can grumble, but we cannot refuse to obey him. We trooped out. Almost the entire family turned into a search party. The men led the way, angry at Tunde and complaining about his carelessness, immaturity, inefficiency, irresponsibility, and whatever word we can muster. Tunde stayed far from all of us. The kids ran barefoot through the fields, shouting, "Egba mio, come back, goat." They turned it into an adventure, enjoying themselves. The women followed far behind, woving wooden spoons like weapons, discussing probabilities on what to use as an alternative to the goat. After hours of fruitless searching, Uncle Sola found a goat. But it wasn't ours according to Tunde. We debated whether to take it or not, until we saw the branding on the goat. The branding revealed the owner as the village chief. With this revelation, taking the goat was not an option, unless we wanted to have issues with Chief Bada. By evening, we gave up the search. We trooped back home tired, dirty, and hungry. Even the children were no longer shouting and running. We entered the compound amidst raised angry voices. The women, who left us halfway into the search, were having heated argument. On seeing us, they grew quiet, perhaps in anticipation of good news. Once they realized we did not have the goat, they restarted their argument. Uncle Segun asked to know what the issue was. Sister Funmi, who we fondly called the family CNN, explained the cause of the argument. The women had decided to use the chicken in the backyard in place of the goat. Based on this decision, Cousin Bola had suggested her special stew in place of jollof rice originally planned. Aunt Funke outrightly rejected that idea. Her reason was that the stew is always tasteless and too peppery. That was the genesis of the argument, though other issues were added in between. Just as Sister Funmi was finishing, the shouting match started again. Soon half of the family was taking sides, including men and children, until Uncle Segun threatened to send all of us to bed on empty stomach if we did not stop the argument. Grandma sat in her corner, laughing. When the argument subsided, Grandma said, "This is what happens when you forget to pray before planning. It will be one issue after another." Later that night, as tensions simmered and stomachs growled, someone suggested a family prayer. Grandma led it, her voice steady and wise. She ended the prayer with the statement, "Lord, teach us to see joy, even in chaos. Bless this family and let your peace reign." We all chorused, "Amen." After the prayer, the atmosphere shifted. Tension died completely. Uncle Sola cracked a joke about Tunde being the first man in history to lose a goat to natural selection. Laughter erupted. The mood lightened, and we started sharing stories. We ended up sleeping late and long. We woke up late on Christmas morning. Just as we were waking up on Christmas morning, we heard a loud bleating. The goat. It was back. It had wandered back to the seller's stall at the market. The seller, who knew the story of the goat's escape, decided to return it to us. The seller joked that the goat must have had a vision and returned to fulfill its destiny. We laughed, hugged, and thanked God for the unexpected blessing. The feast went on as planned, complete with the music, dancing, and endless jollof rice, with goat meat and chicken. As we sat around the table that afternoon, full and happy, Grandma raised her cup. "This," she said, "is what Christmas is all about. Faith, unity, love, and joy. Even if it takes a runaway goat to remind us. Always remember, as you live your life daily," Grandma continued. 1. To trust in God, even when plans fail. 2. That family is everything. 3. That humor heals. Learn to find joy in the midst of difficulties. 4. to always be grateful no matter the circumstances. And that, my friends, was this My Family Christmas story. What's your craziest holiday story? Let's hear it in the comments.
Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to our channel at Folklores and Dreamscapes to enable us bring more stories your way.